We are discussing about probability, the possibility of something happening. So, in earlier discussions, we have learned about two approaches to the theory of probability. The first is statistical approach, and the second one is classical approach. The statistical approach, what we have discussed, also known as repeated experiments and observed frequency approach. So, in this approach, we have defined the probability of an event as the ratio of observed frequency to the total frequency. The classical approach, which also we have discussed, here we define the probability of occurrence of an event as the ratio of favorable number of outcomes to the total number of equally likely outcomes. Now, what does it mean? First of all, these equally likely outcomes are also known as elementary events associated with certain experiment. For example, in a die 1 to 6, so these are your elementary events 1 and till 6. But both the theories have some serious deficiencies and limitations. For instance, these approaches cannot be applied to the experiments which have large number of outcomes. We cannot apply here. And the classical definition of probability cannot be applied whenever it is not possible to make a simple enumeration of cases which can be considered equally likely. For instance, how does it apply to the probability of rain? What are the possible outcomes? We might think two cases, rain or no rain, rain or no rain. But any locality, any given locality or place, it will not usually be agreed that they are equally alike, right? The classical approach also fails to answer the question like, say, what is the probability that a male will die before the age of 60? Or you say, one more question, what is the probability that a bulb will burn in less than, say, 2000 hours? 2000 hours. In fact, the classical definition is difficult to apply as soon as we deviate from the experiments pertaining to coins, dice, cards, and other very simple games of chance. This classical approach, whenever we deviate from all these, we don't get things what we want. The statistical definition, they have difficulties from mathematical point of view because an actual limiting number may not really exist. That is, the actual limiting number is not there. For this reason, modern probability theory have been developed axiomatically because sometimes the actual limiting number may not really exist or we don't know. So we have a new word which has come up, axiomatically. How to deal the probability theory with this? So this theory of probability was developed by A.N. Kolmogorov. Kolmogorov. It's R also. Kolmogorov. Okay. Kolmogorov, now he is a Russian mathematician, 1933. So he laid down certain axioms to interpret probability. And he wrote a book, Foundation of Probability, and which was published in 1933. So this axiomatic definition of probability, it includes both the classical and the statistical approaches as particular cases and overcomes the deficiency of each of them. So in order to understand this approach, we must know about some basic terms. For example, random experiment, elementary events, sample space, compound events, etc. There are so many. So let us begin with the term random experiment, and then we'll try to understand this axiomatic way of approach. So the first thing first is random experiment. That is, there is no order. You don't know. For example, 1 to 10, you want a random number. Sometimes 2 can come, sometimes 6 can come, sometimes 9 may come. So there is no, prima facie or before understanding. So the word experiment means an operation which can produce some well-defined outcomes. Random experiments are those experiments. What does it mean? These are the operation which can produce some well-defined outcomes. So there are two types of experiments. The first is deterministic experiments, and the second one is random or probability experiments. Please understand, random experiments can be divided into deterministic experiments and random or probabilistic or probability based experiments. So now question comes, what is this deterministic experiment? See, in our daily life, we perform many activities or experiments which always have fixed outcome or result or consequence, no matter how many times we do it or how many times do we repeat it. For example, set of triangles. If a triangle is chosen, then even without knowing the three angles, we can definitely say that the sum of measures of angles is 180 degree. Any triangle. It can be isosceles, it can be equilateral, any triangle. You know it. So this kind of experiments are deterministic experiment. Now if I talk about random or probabilistic experiment, so if an experiment, when repeated under ideal conditions, same conditions for each experiment, do not produce the same outcome every time, but the outcome in a trial is one of the several possible outcomes, then such experiment is known as a probabilistic experiment or random experiment. For example, the outcomes cannot be predicted or determined. For example, a die 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 will come. Below 1 cannot come, over 6 it cannot come. Only integral numbers can come. For example, tossing a coin, you are not sure if head and tail will come, but you are sure that either head or tail will come. So this is a random experiment. As I said, rolling a unbiased die or drawing a card from well shuffled pack of playing cards are examples of random experiments. All these are random experiments. Now coming to the terminologies, sample spaces. Sample space. Now associated to every random experiment, there are two basic terms. First is the outcomes, or we call it as elementary events, and sample space. So with every random experiment, we have outcomes, that is the elementary events we are calling it. And the second one is the sample space. I'm writing it as SS. Sample space. So in order to understand sample space, we have to know elementary event. Elementary event are what? Elementary means if this, the kids are going to school, it's elementary level. So if a random experiment is performed, then each of its outcomes, result, is known as an elementary event. Each of its outcome is termed as elementary event. Right? You can say that outcomes of random experiment are known as elementary events. Elementary events are also known as simple events. So 1 to 6, if we throw a die, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. These are elementary events. Then what is sample space? when we do a random experiment, the set of all possible outcomes of a random experiment is called the sample space associated with it and generally denoted by capital S. See, when we threw the die, what did we get? 1 till 6 we got. Now we are arranging, these are elementary events. Now let us arrange them in a form of a set. There will be these curly brackets, not square bracket. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, we have made a set. Now this set is a sample space. Please understand, you have to go to the set theory to understand this. From 1 to 6, all these parts are known as elementary event. So when we combine this elementary event, for example, E1, E2, E3 till En, these are elementary event, for example, for random experiment. Now, for example, tossing a coin, E1 will be head, E2 will be tails. If we are throwing a die, E1 till E6 will come, E1 will be 1, E6 will be 6, like this. If I say that I am trying to put it in the set, it has to be a curly bracket because set always comes in a curly bracket. I'll take an example so that we understand this concept better. Consider the random experiment of tossing a coin. The possible outcomes of this experiment are head and tail. So let us define two things. Head and tail can come. So we define event. Event 1 is what? Getting head on the upper face. E1 is getting head on the upper face. And E2 will be getting a tail on the upper face. E2 is getting a tail on the upper face. So this E1 and E2 are elementary events. Because there is no other thing which can come. Either H or either tail. So experiment is basically, what is the experiment? Random experiment, tossing a coin. So even E2 are elementary events associated with the random experiment tossing a coin. What is the sample space then? As I said, you have to take the elementary events, put it in the set. So let us take the set and put this E1 and E2, E1 comma E2. So this has to be in braces because it is a set. E1 comma E2 is our sample space. Okay. Now you know very well, E1 is what? Getting H. So let us write it H, and E2 getting tail, so T. This is a more informal way to put it. Okay. So these are sample spaces. We talked about elementary event and sample space. The next thing which comes here is, I talked about events so many times. So the question should come in your mind, what are events? This content is from R.D. Sharma. Okay. And this is just for your reference. If you don't have a book, you know from where I'm actually taking the content. Event. What is an event? For example, it's marriage, birthday party, all these are events in our house, day-to-day life. In mathematics, event is a subset of the sample space associated with a random experiment. A subset of the sample space associated with a random experiment. This is called an event. Right? So we have a die. Why I'm taking example of die? Because it's quite simple to understand. Dice, D-I-C, die we call it. So let us take the random experiment, throwing a die. So what is the sample space associated with this experiment? We already know. It's S equals 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So these are elementary, 1 till 6 are elementary events and S is the sample space. So how many subsets are possible? Can you tell me? Always we take 2 and to the power of number of elements in set. So 2 to the power 6 because 6 elements are there. Elementary events are 6, so 2 to the power 6. So 64 subsets are here. These are the possible of subset. For example, let us take subset 1. 1 is a subset. Say 1, 2 is a subset. And let us take 4, 5, 6 as a subset. These are all subsets. Which can be, you have to go to the set theory. You have to understand, you know set theory, then only you will be able to understand all this. So what are the events now? Okay, now let us formally make the events now. Say we have a set A. There is a set A, and which is saying, I'm just putting some certain numbers. 2, 4, 6. Can you tell me what is this? What is this subset? Or what is this set? Let us take one more. Say 1, 3, 5. Let us take one more, which is 3, 4, 5, 6. This is all I'm making from the S. These are all the subsets from S only. One more D, 1, 2, 6. Now A can be named. A is a proper set getting an even number from sample space S. So getting an even number. 2, 4, 6 are even numbers. B is getting an odd number. So this is a proper set which can be named. C is a set getting a number greater than 2. Number which is getting greater than 2. Okay. So these events can be named. A, B, C, D are all the events associated with the sample space of a random experiment. D, I don't have any explanation. I don't have any name, or I cannot name anything. But A, B, C can be named, D cannot be named, but D is also a set. So A, B, C, D all are set. There is no general description in words for the event D. So some events associated with the random experiment may be described in words. However, it is not possible for every event. So take the elementary event, make a set. And if you take any subset of this sample space is called an event. You understood the idea of event now? From the random experiment, then sample space, elementary event, then we came to event. Now, when will you say that the event has occurred or occurrence of event? See, an event A associated to a random experiment is said to occur if any one of the elementary events associated to it is an outcome. What does it mean? If an elementary event E is an outcome of a random experiment and A is an event such that E belongs to capital A, we say that event A has occurred. Somewhat confusing. So let us take an example. Let me tell you again. If an elementary event E is an outcome of a random experiment and A is the event, then we say E belongs, and such that E belongs to A, we say that A has occurred. Let us come to the example because this is somewhat complicated definition. Consider a random experiment of throwing a unbiased die which we just took. Same thing we have taken. So A is the event what? Is an even number. A is the event of getting an even number. Then what is A? It's 2, 4, 6. Now, this A is 2, 4, 6. Now, suppose in a trial the outcome is 4. A is a subset. And we say we throw a die and the trial has given 4. A is 2, 4, 6, which is getting an even number. And 4 has come when we throw a die. Then we say event has occurred because 4 belongs to A. Okay, 4 belongs to A. A is the set of even numbers. Event A has occurred. Now when we throw a die, and for example, 4 has not come, this time say 1 or say 3 has come. Either 1 or 3, because 1 and 3 or 3 is not belonging to this 2, 4, 6. So 3 is subset of A. So we say event A has not occurred. Event A has not occurred. Okay. This is the occurrence of event, a non-occurrence of event. The next thing which will come is algebra of events. And we are going to take negation, types of events, mutually exclusive, exhaustive, a lot many things. But we'll take this in the next discussion. Okay. Till then, thank you so much. Take care of yourself.